Our coaches' conversations roll along on View from the West podcast, now joined by Tolono Unity head coach Tony Reetz. Coach, first-year head coach, thanks so much for taking time to join us on a busy but final weekend of the year. It's great to be playing this time of season.
It is. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, Coach, can you put into words, what this year has been like for you, finding yourself as a first-year head coach, taking over a program that has a proud tradition, and here you go, you find yourself playing on the last game of the season?
Yeah, I mean, pretty awesome experience. I'm fortunate to have a great group of seniors and a great coaching staff that most all of us are holdovers from Coach Hamilton's staff, and I just got elevated to the big chair. And talk about being born on third base. I get an all-state quarterback to inherit. I get 27 seniors. I get a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator, and a coaching staff with all kinds of experience. So it's just been pretty incredible.
Coach, you talk about just right there about what all you inherited. Have you felt the pressure being the one to replace Coach Hamilton, or has it all been kind of a committee thing to help you get through the year?
Well, I don't know about if I would say pressure, but expectations were obviously high. They're high around here every year. I think more so, I wanted to make sure that we gave the kids everything we had, and making sure that we didn't shorten them on anything. But if there's been any difference between what Coach Hamilton did and what I'm doing, I would say that I'm leaning more on our defensive staff to come up with game plans and practice plans and those kinds of things. I mean, I've always been an offensive-minded guy. I've always played on that side of the ball, coached on that side of the ball. So our defensive staff is definitely probably pulling a little bit more weight than they used to. But no, it's just been an awesome experience, and I don't know that I would say pressure is the right word, but high expectations for sure, and I feel like we're on the cusp of achieving all that.
Yeah. Coach, you're on the cusp of achieving all that, like you said, after a great win over rivals St. Joe Ogden. First of all, before I get into my question, as a coach, what's it like for you to play a rematch against a rival in the postseason? Would you rather see somebody you don't know, or do you like seeing that rematch? I guess take me through the coaching mentality of playing somebody again.
Well, I would absolutely rather play somebody different. I have a lot of respect for St. Joe, a lot of respect for Monticello. We saw them earlier in the playoffs. Two great programs, two great coaches, two great communities, and just, man, it's hard to beat a good team twice. And both Monticello and St. Joe proved that with the way those games went this year. Last year we ended up having to face both of them in the playoffs last year. And Monticello, it's interesting because both of those games flipped. St. Joe got us in the regular season. We got them in the playoffs. We got Monticello in the regular season, and then they got us in the semifinals last year. So for us to be able to withhold both of them, both in the regular season and in the playoffs, I mean, it's not easy. And just, I think that shows the character of our kids and the heart and the maturity, and they just never panicked in either of those games. We in both of those games we fell behind. I think we fell behind at least by a score, and our kids never panicked, and our coaching staff never panicked, and I don't know how our fans felt in either of those situations. I don't think they were too comfortable, but those rivalry games are definitely more exciting for the fans, I think, than the players and coaches.
Yeah,
But it
well,
does create
Coach,
a great atmosphere.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Coach, I was going to say if you're getting through the Illini Prairie, you're doing something right because that conference we look at it from afar, and I think I'll speak for Mitch too. We have a ton of respect for that program, for that conference, and the programs that are in it. Mitch, what do you got for Coach?
Sorry, no, Coach. Going back to that game again, your semifinal win last week. Um, Went down early, trailed early to a team, and it looked a lot differently than that earlier regular season game. But a couple of pick sixes there in the second quarter turned the tides around. How did you keep the sideline to keep the faith and kind of stick to the basics and knowing that things would go your way?
Well, I mean, like I said, I think it just goes to the maturity of our kids. I never felt panic on any from any of the kids or any of our coaches. Uh, it was still early. We knew that it was a 4 quarter game, and we just gotta do our thing. They had a lot of guys going both ways, and we're pretty much two platoon, and so we thought, if the game becomes a back and forth and, maybe in the fourth quarter they would get tired and we might get a little bit of an edge. But having those two pick sixes within, you know, a minute or two of each other, just completely turned the tide and took the wind out of their sails and gave life to our sideline. And then from that point, I just feel like we got rolling.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we're talking about these matchups, these battles against the Illini Prairie. Take me back to a year ago, the state semifinals, unbelievable game against Monticello ends in the most tragic of ways. I mean, how it ended, a Hail Mary called back due to a penalty. What was the message after that game? What was the communication in the offseason? And then what was kind of the motivation to apply that to this year? Because that's a tough one for, an adult and a coach to get over. It's really tough for kids on the field, to get past that.
Yeah, that was a hard one. I mean, we led most of the game, and Monticello took the lead right there at the end, and you know, they we called a play, got some decent yardage out of it, and then it came back. They stormed the field a little prematurely. There was still 1 second on the clock. We got a penalty tacked on. Next thing you know, they clear the field, and we get to run another play. We run a Hail Mary. We actually switched the formation at the last minute, and our tight end didn't get the call, and so he ended up being covered up and released, and you know we ended up catching the ball, and then our fans kind of stormed the field, and they had to sort it all out. It was it's pretty bizarre, but it's a tough way to lose, but that's the way the game goes sometimes. And we didn't really focus on it a lot in the off season. I think for each kid individually, it might have been motivation for them, but I think looking back, it's just having played in a game like that, I think is what has led to the maturity of this group this year. And that's why when they fell behind earlier in Monticello, when they fell behind against St. Joe, they didn't panic. They just went about their business, and you know, and we knew that our culture would come through eventually, and things would start to go our way.
And Coach, looking at your offense, you coming into this job as the offensive coordinator last year, I assume, are you still calling plays?
I am. Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of input from our offensive staff guys. They do a great job of being eyes and ears and seeing things and talking to kids and feeding me information. And we do share some play calling duties. Coach Eisenminger will call series here and there, and that way that allows me to kind of step back and get a different perspective on the defense during the game. It's something that Coach Hamilton did with me the last few years, um, and it helped me as a coach be mentally in the game and kind of have a little bit of control over what's happening out there and feel for things. So our systems worked very well. We scored a lot of points this season. So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well, you've got some great weapons to play around with. You just mentioned Eisenmenger, Dane Eisenmenger, your quarterback, nearly 3,000 yards throwing, 33 to 3 touchdown to interception ratio there. Trey Hoggard, Tyler
Mhm.
Henry being the main targets, and then you've got Crew Eichstein uh, rushing for nearly 1,500 yards this year. So, knowing all of their respective skill sets, what was the mindset coming into this offense for this year, and how have you executed that so well?
Yeah, I think the big thing going in to the season was knowing that there was only one football, and we had so many weapons and so many guys that were explosive and could do things with it if they got their hands on it. But in the course of a game, we're not afraid to throw the ball to anybody. We're not afraid the ball to bring anybody afraid to bring anybody in the backfield and get them the ball or call Dane's number if need be. Like there at the end of the St. Joe game. We we knew, I mean, Crew was battling and he was tired and he had twisted his ankle and he had just was dealing with a lot of stuff, but he just kept gutting it out. And we got into a crucial fourth down situation, and I knew that they were going to be keying the heck out of Crew. So uh, we called a quarterback counter, and they all went with Crew, and then we had an unbelievable block by our right tackle, and he cleared the way, and then Dane just went untouched 25 yards for a touchdown that sealed the deal.
Yep. So, Coach, this team advancing to Illinois State University to play on the turf there in the 3A state championship game. You're an Illinois State graduate. Does it mean something to you to be back playing on that turf at Hancock?
Absolutely. I don't think anybody's more excited to coach a game at Hancock than I am. You're not going to find a bigger Redbird fan than me, and I have great memories there at that stadium and playing and even going back to as a kid. I had a older cousin that had played at ISU, and I remember going to all the games when he was playing, and my grandpa was the athletic director at Normal Community when it was still right across the street there. It's now Kingsley, but I can remember as a kid going over to games with him, and just so a lot of great memories at ISU and at Hancock Stadium, and just yeah, pretty excited to be back there uh, and coach there.
Awesome. I've always said, this is going off on a side tangent, I've always said Illinois State University would be a great place for the boys basketball state tournament, for the
Oh,
football, for the girls basketball, for everything. I'm a fan of putting it all there because I think that it's great facilities. It's a pretty good location for everybody in the state. I've always been a fan of that. And depending on how the timelines time out, I might have been covering sports for Southern Illinois University while you were playing at Illinois State. So, we were rivals back in the day before we knew each other, maybe.
yes, SIU had some great teams back then.
Yeah.
Tony Kutzos
Y- yep.
and those guys. Yeah,
Yeah. They always used to say the game wasn't over until Joel Sambursky says it is, and he didn't say it was over very often. He was a pretty good quarterback. Anyway, that's going back in the archives. But
yeah.
Mitch, what do you got for Coach?
Coach, just looking ahead to Friday, Byron is the team that we cover pretty good up here in our coverage area. What do you know
Okay.
about Byron? What have you seen on Byron? What do you? I don't want to say what do you like about Byron, but what would be some keys to stopping their potent rushing attack that they present? This is their fifth time to state in the last 7 years, so a team that's going to be coming in with some experience. What do you see on film about Byron?
Well, it's the typical Byron show. I mean, Coach Boyer's got him rolling up there, and he and his staff do a great job. As an offensive line guy, it's hard to not just be enamored by their offensive line play. Obviously the Considine kid is just a load, both offensively and defensively. Um, from a pure football standpoint, you love to see what they do and how they do it and how they play. I mean, their defense is uber aggressive and flies to the ball, and it's it's just everything about small town football that you love, and it's really just an honor to be able to coach against them and be across the sidelines from them, and just be mentioned in the same breath as them.
Yeah. what do you focus on this week? Do you have anything? I mean, I don't give away, too much of your game plan, but, with a team like that, knowing what they do, are there general, statements you make to your line, to your, secondary? What do you talk about?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that, we don't see a whole lot of that style of offense. So it's hard to replicate in practice, the under center and how fast things hit and how quick the keys are going to be. I don't know how you prepare our kids for that, but we'll do the best we can, and we'll see if we can get a good game plan together and try to give it our best shot.
Yep. Yeah, Coach, you referenced it, having the two communities, Byron and Tolono Unity, two kind of classic Illinois high school football programs in this level. And I'm really excited to be there, for that 3A kickoff, 4 p.m. on Saturday. Good luck, Coach. We'll be walking the sidelines. Hopefully we get a chance to say hi to you, but it should be a great day at Illinois State.
Thanks. We're looking forward to it. Can't wait.
All right, there we go. Appreciate your time, Coach. Good luck. We'll talk to you on Saturday.
Friday.
Thanks for having me.
Friday. Yeah. Friday.
Yeah.
All right. See ya.
Thanks, Coach.
See ya.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. I didn't say Saturday in the end of the interview, did I? It doesn't matter, but
Just at that part you did.
I mean, okay. What after we were done though, right? No. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. All right. I gotta go over to Channel 8 in about 10 minutes, but
Okay. Sounds good.
What uniforms do we still need? Are you putting them in that Google Drive, or how do you want to go about this?
I hadn't put the pictures in there, but I was updating the things as I went.
Okay.
I mean, do we even have a Lee Win black on black?
I got two from WREX that Derek Bain had sent me some video throughout the season. They're not great quality, but I got them where we need them.
Kyle might have one. We can see.
Yeah.
Brown County, we're good, so we should be okay. 1A, 2A, we're fine. We got Maroa, we got Wilmington. I got to pick a Wilmington one, but now that I know that there's purple white, I can get one really easily. Yep. I might have even saved one.
I have a Byron black on black that the AD sent out before a game. So it's good enough. It works. You see everything you need to see.
I asked that Miguel.
As long as go ahead.
I'd asked that Miguel that shot by Mig for a Byron picture, but I guess we're okay there.
Okay. So here's what. Let me pull this up full screen. Here's what my plan is. So if I go to share screen when we're here, let me stop this recording first.